Okay, greetings everyone. An important point to be discussed for the time being. It's going to be non-discrimination, or rather, one very important facet of non-discrimination. And I just hope that you will be able to understand what I am trying to convey over here, or maybe at the end of the lecture it shall be like what I tried to convey over here. Okay, anyways, whenever we talk about this thing called as non-discrimination, we are owing to some very important provisions of the Constitution of India 1950, the supreme law of the land, obviously. But when I say that very important portion of that, again we need to filter it out, because there are so many provisions spread across which focus upon this non-discrimination. And yet I shall, for the time being, only tell or maybe just talk about one important thing which has been ignored so much that it has become something like, okay, obsolete. Not even obsolete, but nobody is talking about it. It has become something like obscure, you may say. That may be the right word at the present juncture. Anyways, owing to that particular thing I'm talking of, first we need to have that background of what I'm trying to say over here. We'll talk about Article 15 in particular, and that too, a small portion of that, obviously, because the objective of this particular talk or this particular video which I am recording right now, that is focused on one thing, so only that thing shall be focused upon. Okay, when we talk of Article 15, we'll talk about three clauses, 1, 2, and 3. That too in a limited fashion, because our main focus is one important facet which I do not know, nobody can be able to tell that why this portion did not come into the mind of the framers, or maybe even of the present ruling governments. And whatever I said, governments, please do not focus on party politics which goes on in India. I simply said the legislature, the government. I am not a politician. I am just an assistant professor working at some private institution. Anyways, coming to the point, whenever we talk of this clause 1, clause 2, and clause 3 of Article 15, it has given some grounds for non-discrimination among citizens. It is a citizenry right, the first thing you need to know about it. And then again, when we say that, okay, some grounds have been given, clause 1 of Article 15, it simply tells that the citizen shall not be discriminated only on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. That are the exact words of 15 clause 1. As for clause 2, same thing is being repeated but in a different fashion. It says that the state shall not discriminate among citizens only on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. And now the important thing that we need to discuss, that is 15 clause 3. Clause 3 of Article 15, it has been laid down as a privilege being given to two important sectors of the society owing to their being weaker sections of the society. That is, we are talking of women and children. See, clause 3 of Article 15 says that nothing shall prevent the state from making laws for upliftment of women and children. Important words over here, nothing shall prevent. That is a very big term. Although you may think that, okay, fine, that is a word which is generally used in English language. But no, when we say that nothing shall prevent the state, that simply means that even if somebody's fundamental right is going on, still the state is not going to be prevented. Now, nothing shall prevent the state from doing what? From making special laws for women and children. See, two sectors of the society have been focused upon by this clause 3 of Article 15. That means your females, we are talking of gender over here, and we are talking of children over here. Now, one thing comes into mind, very important, and the thing which I was saying that we are going to focus on today, that is senior citizens. Where have they been given protection now? See, there may be a debate around, and you people may claim that, okay, you are not 100% correct, that senior citizens are given privilege, etc. But I am talking of the grand norm right now. Grand norm for India, obviously, the supreme law of the land. I am talking of the Constitution of India. If Article 15, it in clauses 1, 2, and 3, obviously there are others also. For example, it is talking about reservation in your education system. It also talks about economically weaker sections and reservation being given to them by amendments. But right now we are focused on 3 clauses and non-discriminatory part. See, whenever we talk of this non-discrimination, if these grounds have been given and 5 grounds have been told, why not age? Now this important thing comes out from here. We are talking of ageism in India. See, I don't say that only senior citizens, but we talk about the other. That means the opposite part also. Whenever I say that opposite part, I'll give you an example from myself, because if I give example of somebody else, people just take it otherwise. Anyways, if I say that, okay, I appear for an interview and I just shave off, I don't have any beard and I'm just clean shaved right now. Okay, holidays are going on, that's the reason why I did not shave. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if I just shave myself and then I appear for the interviewer is going to say, okay, you are right now still in the start of your career, you're not a professional. Nobody is going to point out to the fact that how many years of experience I have, or maybe what is my date of birth. And the point is, discrimination has started from here itself. Now, don't think that I have taken that personally. I just gave you that example because so that people don't get hurt. If I give example of somebody else, often people tend to get hurt. Anyways, if I take the opposite part of this, for example, there is an old man or an old woman, obviously, whatever the gender or the sex may be, that thing is something else. I may prepare a lecture for that also. But anyways, when we talk of that person in particular, these people are now discriminated on other grounds. See, we take an example. If I say chinky to someone, that term is being used, you already know what I am talking of. That will be something wrong. The society is going to say this person is very bad, he is discriminating and he's calling such names. Or maybe if I name a person according to the caste, for example, if you say someone, what we call in Hindi, in quotations I can say that, okay, you call somebody bhangi or chamar or whatever, that person is going to say that, okay, untouchability, and that person will claim discrimination, and so many things are going to happen around. If I say that with that intention, right now to giving a lecture, but if I say that with that intention, obviously things are going to worsen up. But if I say, I give you another example, for instance, an old person is walking. I said person right now, it may be male, it may be female. I'll give both. For example, if I say that an old person is walking and somebody just comments, Buddhi Godi Lal Lagam, yeah, maybe Buddha Goda Lal Lagam. See, it may be funny, and obviously it is funny. Even I am smiling on that. But the thing again is that is a serious notion over here. That if somebody comments this, why is this not something against the society? And why is it not a discriminatory thing? Then again, sometimes it happens, you might have heard at workplaces generally this thing happens, that if a senior person is going on and their comments come on from around, you can say, I will not name some particular person obviously for important reasons, but again, comments like, अब तो हड्डियाँ भी चढ़ चढ़ करती होंगी, घुटने भी चढ़ चढ़ करते होंगे, so on and so forth. I think you can understand what I'm trying to say over here. So why is this not discrimination? That means again, we are talking of non-discrimination clause, and I have given you discrimination which goes on around in the society on the basis of this age. So one thing is Article 15, Clause 1, Clause 2, and then there is Article 15, Clause 3. Neither in Clause 1 or Clause 2 age has been mentioned as a ground of non-discrimination, nor in Clause 3 the state has been provided that power to give privilege to senior citizens. See, the focus of Clause 3 is weaker section of the society. But the question again is, are senior citizens not weaker section of the society? I mean, see, females are weaker section of the society, children are weaker section of the society, but why not senior citizens? That is a very important facet of Article 15, Clause 3. And one thing is, see, I have been saying this thing around for I think so, the day I started lecturing in my career. It will be 7 years of my experience as a lecturer in the field of law. And the important thing now is that students who have attended my classes in offline mode in classrooms, obviously they know I have already said things in support of this. But the point again is, why this platform now? That I'm using this YouTube, and I shall share the link on LinkedIn also. But it is not that कि subscribe it, घंटी बजाओ और मुझे बहुत popularity मिल जाएगी. No, it is just for that because if I publish this paper, chances are very less. Why? Because one thing important is, if we say good journals in the sense, today we just say that, okay, a journal which is Index and Scopus is a good journal. And then there are journals like, I can name it over here, obviously that is the truth. If I say about Hindavi, see, just search for that journal, it says that give 1,65,000 approximately to get your research published. So why should I share my thoughts in that manner? That means again, that is my thought, and then I shall pay lakhs and lakhs of money for one paper to get that published, for one idea. So obviously I'm using this platform. But the thing important is that, okay, some lectures of mine, they are going to be very formal, and I shall focus on the theoretical part of it for students focused, but some of them are going to be of this fashion. That means what we need to ponder upon. There's a change required in the society, obviously. Nobody thinks of these issues. And the reason again, it's just like, okay, nobody knows that even. Maybe people were not able to think that future may show this because India was a nation of ideals. That means again, we followed that conservatism, we followed traditional approach, we followed idealism, and maybe people thought that the senior citizens will always be like respected in the society. But things have changed a lot today, and again, this is a reminder for people, if this video or this platform reaches up to those people, that you need to bring some amendments at least. One of them I have focused over here, others also, there are so many of them. I'll just keep on continuing, obviously, if I get support in that fashion, and even if I don't get, I will just keep on doing that. At least I've been led to get my words out. Because see, when I write, I just try to get it published. People say it is very controversial. Oh, it is not controversial. Just think about it. I'm just talking about it in a logical and rational manner. So the important thing is what I try to say today. See, Article 15 is there. There are so many case laws. There are so many facets of that. That is the theoretical part for law students, obviously. I'll try to make another lecture on that to explain in detail that, okay, fine, what things are and how you need to understand, what all you need to understand, everything in detail about Article 15, whatever has been mentioned up till now. And don't worry when I say everything, I am not a very some godly figure over here, but yes, I'll take references from books written by Dr. Durgadas Basu, Professor H.M. Sirva, and so on. So that means again I shall cover that thing. But for today, the only focus was one facet, and that is ageism. It is becoming a very big problem in India, and particularly in the field of academics as well. I forgot that thing. See, if I say an academician, if I have that beard, I have those hairs, and they have that hint and traces of gray hair, I shall be termed as a very nice professor, very senior professor. But think about things like, okay, again we are doing that thing. We are discriminating on the basis of age over here. Okay, fine, experience is a very nice thing, but there are two kinds of experiences. Experience number one, a person has burnt himself or herself out and worked very hard to achieve that position. And then second, we are doing just nothing. It's time. We are just spending time, and those years are being counted on with our name that, okay, we have been experienced to such an extent. For people, please don't take it otherwise, or don't take it personally or sentimentally. It's just a fact which I'm trying to tell over here. That too for the reason that the discussion was about this ageism thing. And discussion also I cannot say. Obviously, I'm the only one who's speaking over here. And yet it was like, okay, I have expressed myself out. I tried to express myself out through those papers of mine, but again, there is a problem. I have already mentioned that things are very different in the academic field. They won't publish papers if I don't know the publisher or the editor, or if I don't have that money. I gave you an example of a journal as well. So, and that again, this is not a controversial thing. It is a fact. We have to pay so much of money, and then we get that thing published. It's better that I use this free platform. In case even a few of you just go through it and try to understand it, you'll understand the pertinent thing. That, okay, yes, it is something which needs to be discussed over here. Why are seniors not given privilege? Why are seniors not counted amongst weaker section of the society in accordance with Article 15, Clause 1, Clause 2, and Clause 3. There's 16 also, but again, today's thing was agenda, you can say. Today's focus also, you can say, whatever term you may use. Okay, it was only for this particular thing over here that, okay, why senior citizens are not being privileged. I am not a senior citizen, but I can feel their pain, obviously. But yes, not only senior citizens. Whenever I say ageism or that term age, I am referring to the other counterpart as well. I hope I was clear over here, although it was not purely an academic lecture, and yet it was just like, okay, an expression of some important thing which is missing under that particular provision of the supreme law of the land. Thank you for your patient listening, if you were patiently listening, because it's like, okay, it's a video, and we, when I say we, majority of us have a tendency not to listen to the entire video. But anyways, a few of you might be listening till the end, so thank you for your patient listening. That's what I wanted to tell today. And tell also, I did not tell that in detail, just a hint for you. That means again, in the upcoming lectures, if I record, when I record, whenever I record, I shall discuss things in detail. But today it was like, okay, pointing out to one gray area, one lacuna, and one important thing to be pondered upon. Thank you.